Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have a guest all the way from India, Mr. Naveen Toshniwal. Naveen was born and brought up in Calcutta, a city in East India. He did his schooling from St Xavier's and completed engineering from Jadavpur University. And excuse me for any of these names I say wrong. A well-known institute in India. He shifted to Jaipur city in 1996, a well-known tourist place. He is looking after his family business in manufacturing of instrumentation and industrial cables. He started learning grapho therapy from his father while he was studying at college. He further enhanced his knowledge by self-study and online courses. On motivation from his friends and relatives, he started pursuing his passion as a part-time profession. He has been invited by various institutes for awareness sessions and presentations. Most prestigious invitation was by India School of Business, Hyderabad in central India. This is the top management college in India in the private sector. After lockdown, he was invited regularly for online sessions by Amity University, Perul University, Deshbaghat University, Baba Institute of Technology, RCM College, NSHM College, Jawali University, Rotary Clubs in Jaipur and Calcutta, and several others. He is associated with training institutes and counselors for one-on-one counseling and therapy all over India. Welcome to the podcast, Naveen, and I'm sorry that I couldn't say your college names right.
No, that's perfectly all right. And thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Yes, thank you. And I'm very excited to get into this and find out about the grapho therapy. But first of all, let's just learn about you so people know who you are. Tell us about you, where you started out, how you're doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, see, basically, I come from a business family. I am born and brought up in a city, Calcutta. It's in East India. And I have done my schooling and colleging in this city. And I did my engineering from there. And thereafter, I have joined my family business where we are manufacturing these specialized instrumentation cables. Now, graphotherapy was a passion for my father as well. And I used to see him do the analysis of probable candidates he would be appointing for our business. He used to get handwritten applications from the candidates, and he used to study the handwriting, the strokes of the handwriting, and he would shortlist the candidates based on the traits he would be observing in the handwriting strokes. That's how I started getting interest in this science. And I started learning from him little bit in my free time. And in the college time, when we had some free periods, we would sit amongst our friends and probably take someone's handwriting and do the analysis. And that used to be, very, the friends used to be very curious. How do you come to know so many things just through the handwriting? So that curiosity, developed into motivation, and my friends started motivating me. Why don't you pursue it further? Why don't you go into it further in more details? That's how I started getting into this line. And now I'm doing it quite professionally and on a good scale on all India level and even internationally.
Wonderful. So, um, why don't you start by telling us what is grapho therapy?
Yeah. See, I will put it in two parts. First part is grapho analysis. See, actually speaking, it's a very old science. Unfortunately, the awareness of the science is not there. It's very less. You must have heard of a Greek scholar, Aristotle. We used to learn in our history days. He was the first person who actually discovered a link between the mind and the handwriting. He used to say that handwriting is actually mind writing, and whatever you have in your mind, it comes out through your hand and through the pen on the paper, and it can be seen through the various strokes which you make in the handwriting. Unfortunately, the awareness of the science did not develop much, but it is quite commonly used today in European countries and even parts of USA for appointments in corporates. And people hire grapho analysis specialists to analyze the characteristics of the candidates even before the interviews are done. So this is what grapho analysis is, where we are analyzing the personality and character of a person up to the subconscious level through the strokes in the handwriting. Now we come to the more relevant and more interesting part, that is graphotherapy. See, after analysis, what? We can analyze a person in details where we are able to know the positive and negative traits of a person. But then how to further enhance and utilize your positive traits and how to get over the negative traits. That is what graphotherapy talks about, where you are actually making conscious efforts to change some minor strokes in the handwriting, whereby you are actually correcting yourself at the subconscious level simply by practicing those change in strokes. That is what graphotherapy is.
Okay. Wow. So I had a friend that did, I think maybe the same thing. And sometimes she would work with the police department, and they would analyze things like uh, people who are about to go to court or whatever. They were analyzing the handwriting just to see what their traits were. I think this has a lot of applications. Is that one of those applications that this would apply to?
Yes, definitely. See, people are studying the psychology of people. Uh, the grapho analysts are studying the psychology of people through the handwritings. And that definitely helps to, I should say, improve or get to know more about the so-called criminals so that they can be mentored and they will be actually a better person in due course if they are given a proper therapy. So it's definitely linked with what you said.
Interesting. So when you work with people, they give you obviously a sample of their handwriting, and then you analyze it, and then I'm guessing you're going over it with them. How do you help them change the things that they would like to change?
Yeah, yes, you're right. See, the way to start is I get a full handwritten page of a natural handwriting, and then I analyze the strokes in details. Now, see, the important point to note is that these days we hardly write. We are all on text, we are texting, we are on keypads, we are on computers. So a lot of people ask me a query that, see, I have not written for so many days or so many months or so many years. So how will you actually analyze me? My handwriting has become so bad, it is untidy. So I'm sure that my character has also gone bad. So it's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you are writing, even if you are writing after many months, the characteristic traits or strokes will still come. And you can accurately analyze a personality through the strokes in the handwriting. So that does not make a difference at all, whether you are writing after many months or many years. Your characteristics and traits will come out in details and to the full accuracy. So that is the beauty of this science. So it has nothing to do with a good or bad handwriting. It is actually reading the strokes. No, a lot of people also tell me that what about doctor's handwriting? See, it is not easy to read a
Yeah,
doctor's
that's what I
handwriting.
was wondering too, because so most of my life when I write very neat and very even. And if I'm going to write a letter to someone or a card, it's very neat. But when I write for work, I just like, I mean, it's just like fast and almost no strokes. You know what I mean? You can't, and it's because we're seeing patients quickly, and we have to write really really fast. So
Yeah, that does
yeah.
not matter because the strokes will come and the chemist shop always understands what the doctor has written. We may not be able to read what the doctor has written,
Uh-huh.
but surely we can analyze the personality through the strokes. And I'm sure you will agree with me that doctors are one of the most intelligent people. That's why they are doctors. So, what I'm trying to say is the bad or good handwriting, legible or illegible handwriting, has nothing to do with the personality or character of a person.
Interesting. So after you analyze this for someone, is there a training to show them how to change their handwriting, and do they have to keep practicing handwriting to keep those traits?
Yeah, see, after the analysis, see, we all know about ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Only thing is that when I do someone's analysis, they are rather surprised. How did you come to know so much or everything about me through the strokes and the handwriting?
Mhm.
So they are actually surprised and sometimes they are even shocked that how do you know some things which I have not even told my closest friends? So this is the beauty of the science. But the thing is that it is a normal human tendency to ignore our negative traits and try to just forget about it.
Mm.
Okay, let's not talk about it. Let's talk of something else. But the fact is that the traits are there. And if you want to get over it for a better life, graphotherapy is one of the very good options where you are required to consciously practice some small changes in the strokes of the handwriting that actually impacts your subconscious to change you. So that is what graphotherapy is, where we are actually uh, consciously changing someone's strokes to change the person. But remember, the therapy which I give is very simple because these days, as I told you, we don't write at all. So if I tell you to write like half an hour a day and write for months together, no one will be really interested to go through this therapy for self improvement. So I give a very, very simple therapy where you are required to practice just 5 minutes a day
Mhm.
for a duration of 3 weeks. And once that course is complete, you can actually feel and see the changes in yourself. You can feel the changes, right? If you permit me, I'll show you some charts as to how I actually do the analysis and
Okay,
what
yeah.
stroke means what.
Yes, let's see that.
So I'll tell you in brief because it's a very big science, but just to give you an idea. See, now this is indicating the slant of the handwriting, a right slant, a straight handwriting, and a left slant handwriting. And this is the degree of the slant, which I've indicated in the chart. Now, a right slant handwriting indicates a person who is expressive and shows emotions. Straight handwriting person is a person who is composed, will generally not show feelings or emotions. A left slant handwriting indicates a person who is a reserved or an introvert. You will not be able to make out what is going on in that person's mind. Okay. Now, I'm showing you some lower loops, lower strokes. Like this is a Y with a loop. This is a narrower loop, and this is a very small loop. A big loop, lower loop indicates a person who is creative and has a good imagination. No, creativity can be defined in interests like music, dance, art, or it can also be related to the work where you are doing some creative work. And a bigger this loop, more creative you are. Now, a small loop like this indicates a person who is choosy or selective, right? And uh, a very big loop like this indicates a person who is very creative and a person who has a very good talent. Now, you will also see half loops like this, which are incomplete.
Uh-huh.
Incomplete loops indicates person who is creative, no doubt, but creativity is not being utilized to the full extent. A lot of talent is untapped and a potential is there in the person to utilize the talents to a much bigger extent. Okay, now here there are some M's and N's which I am showing. Now this is the M and N we were taught to write in school with a rounded top. Now these are M's and N's which have got sharp needle-like endings at the top. And these are M's and N's which are indicating inverted V's. Now, writing like this with sharp points indicate people who are having a sharp a sharp mind, very good grasping ability. They don't take much time to understand anything. Inverted V's indicate people who have curiosity for learning. They want to learn and grasp new things, go into details and learn more on the subject. A round topped M's and N's, the way we were taught to write in school, this indicates people who are slow thinkers. Now, there is nothing wrong in a slow thinker. Slow thinker basically means a person who takes time to understand anything. He will be requiring to study and restudy anything before being able to understand it completely, right? So this is what a slow thinking person will have a stroke like. Okay, now I will show you some upper strokes. Now, upper strokes can be like this without a loop. It can have a small loop like this, or it can have a bigger loop like this. Now, upper loops indicate people who are sensitive. Lower loops, I already told you, people who are creative. Upper loops indicate people who are sensitive. Now, sensitive can be taken in two ways. One is being touchy, a person who gets hurt easily, takes things to heart. Another part of sensitivity can be a person who is actually compassionate, a person who feels for others, cannot see others in difficulty. So bigger the upper loop, more sensitive or more compassionate the person is. Now I'm coming to the round letters. Now this is a normal A, this is a normal O. Here you will see there is a gap in the A and a gap in the O. A gap indicates people who are frank or friendly. They will be very mixing and they will talk on anything and everything with people. So they are frank and friendly. Now here you will see there is a small loop in the O, a bigger loop and a very big loop in the O. Now this sort of loop indicates people who are secretive. Now this sort of stroke coming in children, I would say it's a negative trait, because if children don't share with us, how can we actually guide them? But the same stroke, if it is coming in our handwritings where we are mature enough, then I would probably say it's a slightly positive trait also, because don't you think if a person is secretive, that person is also trustworthy, a person who can be trusted upon. If you share any secrets or your feelings with someone who is a secretive person like this person will not share it or not disclose it to anyone else. So you can trust the person. A trustworthy person will have a loop like this. Now here you will see there is a double loop in the O, one in the beginning and one towards the end. Now this is a dangerous trait. This indicates people who are dishonest or cheats. This is a stroke of deceit or cheating. So you have to be careful of people who have this sort of double loops. Okay, now I am coming to the final chart. T has got a small t has got a lot of importance in grapho analysis. Now this is a T which has got a normal T stem and a normal T bar. This is the stem and this is the bar. Now this T stem is cutting towards, now T bar is cutting towards the top of the T. Now this indicates people who are ambitious and they have well-defined goals. Now here you will see the T bar is actually going towards the top and it is not even touching the T stem. These are people who are overthinkers. They only think and they will not implement what they are thinking. They are just, you can say, daydreamers or overthinkers, and they don't actually work to achieve their goals. A T bar going to the right of the stem, this indicates short temper. A T bar going to the left of the stem indicates procrastination, a person who has a habit of procrastinating. Now here a T stem has got a loop. This I have already discussed, a person who is sensitive. Now if you see a hook like this in a T bar, this may indicate jealousy or greed. Now a T bar and T stem hooked together like this. This is a positive trait. This is a trait of persistence. A person who is persistent and will not give up easily will pursue whatever he is doing till the work is completed. A downward going T bar indicates a person who is dominating. Upward going T bar indicates people who are optimistic. Now here you will see that the T stem has got an inverted V. This indicates people who are stubborn. Bigger the V, more stubborn the person is. Now a T bar going very low like this, it is almost cutting at the bottom of the T stem. This indicates people who are lacking confidence in their own abilities. They have self-doubt. Now this is a very common feature in many of us these days, and it can be easily tackled if a proper therapy is given. Now this is low self-esteem, or you can say lacking confidence in abilities or self-doubt. Now, if you have a waving T-bar like this indicates person with a good sense of humor. A T-bar with a curve like this or like this indicates a person having a good self-control. Self-control towards small things like person like wanting to avoid sweets. I will not have sweets. Okay, that is good self-control. Then it may also be related to some things like a person having temper, or a person having some negative trait which he realizes that he has, and he's trying to get over it. So the self-control will help that person to do that. Now here you will see the T bar is almost negligible. It is like a dot. You cannot even see the T bar properly. This indicates people who are lacking willpower. So the lack of willpower is shown by a small T bar. A long T bar like this indicates people who are enthusiastic. Enthusiasm will have a long T bar like this. Now here you will see the T bar is starting thick and ending in a point. This indicates sarcasm, people who are sarcastic. So it's a small demo which I have given just to show you how we actually do the analysis.
Yeah, and how accurate can that analysis be? Is there some differences as far as, I don't know, can something have more than one meaning, or how do you know for sure?
See, actually, I'll tell you, this is 100% proven science. Accuracy of the science is 100%. The analysis or the traits shown in the strokes cannot be wrong. They have to be 100% accurate. As a human being, I can make a mistake, or anyone who is doing grapho analysis can make a mistake in the analysis, in judging the strokes. But the strokes will never say anything wrong about you. It's 100% proven science. See, let me tell you something. I am pursuing this as a passion for almost 20-25 years now.
Mhm.
Even if one client had told me that, sir, the therapy which you had given did not help me, or your analysis was inaccurate, I was not at all satisfied, I would have probably stopped pursuing my hobby.
Well,
It's the
that's so
motivation from the feedbacks which I get
mhm.
that is actually driving me to continue this passion.
So can you give me maybe some stories of some of the people you worked with, like where they were at, and then, they did the therapy, and then what was the result?
Yes, sure, I will tell you some stories. I had a young boy uh, who came to me. He was actually preparing for engineering entrance exam. So getting an admission in engineering college in India is very difficult. The entrance exam is very tough. Now, he was very intelligent, and his problem was, actually, it's not a problem. He was having strokes like this, which I just told you. This is for slow thinking, taking time to understand something. So whenever he used to get a question paper, lot of time used to be wasted in trying to understand what the question is, or what is the answer desired by the examiner. So his papers used to be incomplete. He used to come home frustrated, but after coming home, he used to solve the problems accurately. But in a time bound exam, you have to finish it within 2 or 3 hours allotted to you. So his issue was slow thinking and ability to understand something after some lag or delay. So I had to give him a therapy where he was able to understand the problem instantly. Like, I gave him a therapy to make the M's and N's like this
Mm.
instead of like this. So he did the therapy for about 3 weeks. And when I talked to him after a month or so, he told me that he was now able to finish his exams and he got a big boost. Now, see, the interesting part is in the handwriting, he was having some strokes of low self confidence also. I did not give him the therapy for that. I tried to tackle that why this low self confidence is coming. That was because he was not able to finish his practice exams.
Mhm.
So when I gave him the therapy to correct that M and N, and he was able to finish the exams. Now you will be surprised to know that the strokes of self confidence had vanished.
Uh-huh.
I did not need to give him the therapy for that. It vanished on its own because the reason for the self confidence was not able to finish the exams, and his attitude that probably I will not get into engineering. I'm just wasting my time. I should do something else. But then he was able to do well. He got entrance in engineering college. And today, by God's grace, he's doing very well. So this is one of the examples which I just shared with you.
Mhm. Yeah, very interesting. And, when I was looking at the chart, I'm like, yeah, I'm in that category with the slow thinking. And I'm one of those people. I even told another doctor when I was with him, he was teaching me something totally new that I hadn't learned before. And I told him, I said, I need some time to learn this, but once I learn it, I master things completely. I
Yes,
master it completely. So after that,
right,
I I have no problem with everything, but it takes me time to study and learn it.
right. That's right. I'll give you another example. This was during lockdown time. A young girl came to me, and she was having very disturbing strokes in the handwriting. She was not in a frame of mind to even discuss or talk with me. She came with her mother, and uh, the girl was not even able to speak to me anything. Only her mother was talking to me. That, see, this is her state of mind. She doesn't talk anything. You don't know what is going on in her mind. So when I saw the handwriting, there were strokes of depression. See, depression is not so dangerous. It is something which can be tackled easily. She was having strokes of suicidal tendencies.
Mm.
Now, how can you tell someone that this stroke is there? It's not easy. You cannot tell anyone that you have got strokes of suicidal tendencies. You have to handle it very tactfully. So I just told that person, that young girl and her mother, that look, this stroke is not good. You need to change it immediately. So I am giving you some therapy. Try to change this stroke as fast as possible. It will help you a lot. So that's how I started. And then I told her to do the therapy. And I was constantly following up with her mother as she started the therapy because I was worried. Then 1 week she did not do the therapy, but after she started, then things started improving. When she came to me after a month, she said, "Good morning, sir. How are you?" That itself was a big change.
Mm-hmm.
Young girl who was not talking at all, just keeping her head down while talking. She said good morning, and I asked her, "How are you feeling?" She said, "I'm feeling fine and I'm much better now." And then after that, I started with the other therapies like building up confidence, defining of goals. At least the major issue was tackled. Now, today, by God's grace, she is doing well and she is employed in a good place. So these are a couple of examples which I shared with you. And it's a really amazing science, the way people come back with the feedbacks that goes on motivating me to go on pursuing and learning more on the subject.
Yes, yes. So if people wanted to work with you, how do they connect with you? How do they contact you?
I think a good way to connect will be through you because a lot of people know you and you already have my contact details, my email, my number, and I'm also there on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. And if you search by my name, Naveen Toshniwal, you will see I've written below my name, Grapho Therapy Specialist. There may be more Naveen Toshnivals, but when you see Grapho Therapy Specialist, you will know it's me.
Okay.
So we can connect through Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, people can connect through you also. So there's no issue.
Okay. Thank you. So now just a personal question that I ask everybody on the show. What gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
See, actually, happiness is actually an end result of some actions, some good actions which you might have taken, or someone else has taken, and you feel nice to see it. So somehow I feel that happiness is something which comes from within, and you have to think positive and believe that everything will be nice, get over your negativities. So that's how the happiness will be derived. It's within yourself. You just have to explore it and get it. That's what I feel about happiness.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all your knowledge. And I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. So thank you so much.
My pleasure too. And thank you so much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share some of my knowledge on this amazing subject.
Yes, yes. So I have one last question before we complete. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
I think the best way to live a good, amazing life is to be positive, get over your negative traits, uh, utilize your positive traits because a lot of people who are talented, they don't use their talents. A lot of people who are creative, they are not able to use their creativity. They don't use their creativity. We are all bogged down with our professional lives, too busy within ourselves. Try to find out some time for yourself, utilize your positive traits and get over your negative traits. That will help you a lot. And there are, of course, many ways of doing it. Graphotherapy is one of the options which you can always keep in mind.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Naveen. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Right. Thank you so much. My pleasure.